Good day there, Ray Corcoran here. In this week's video, I'm going to be talking about how I'm going to be investing in 2023. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't tell you individual stocks or anything like that, but I just wanted to go over an overview of how I'm thinking about certain asset classes going into 2023, what I'm going to be focusing on, what I'm not going to be focusing on, and some of the things on my mind going into next year. Overall, 2022 has been a bit of a weird year, to be honest. I don't know about you guys, but it's just been a bit of a strange one. The markets were going crazy, now they're not. There's all the, China sort of weirdness going on, geopolitical tension there. There's the Russia-Ukraine stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. COVID has had the tail end of that, for now at least. And overall, there's talks of recession, supply chain issues, a whole bunch of drama. And to be honest, I've just been turning off the TV because I just don't want to hear about it anymore. However, we want to go into next year with a positive attitude. And I'm going to be focusing on, as every year, just having my best year ever and just trying to grow my asset base. That's always a big focus for me. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some of my thoughts around that. And let me know in the comments if you have any particular goals that you're looking at achieving in 2023. I love hearing other people's goals. And make sure you're specific, because if it's not specific, then it's really easy to not hit that objective. But with that said, we'll get into the video. So the first one I'll talk about is real estate. So this year I bought, me and my wife, we bought $3.275 million of real estate. So we bought the big one was the family home. So we bought that for $2.73 million, and we bought a regional investment property as well in January, and that was for $545,000. That was in Queensland. And so it's been a big year for real estate for me, which has been great. We probably, to be honest, bought our house, our family home at the peak of the Sydney boom, almost to the month. I don't even know how I even timed it that bad. Bought the house, then we've had 5-6 rate rises or whatever. I stopped counting now, but we just had a bajillion rate rises, and I think our repayments are around $11,000 Australian a month, which is just fantastic. But yeah, I'm really excited. To be honest, I honestly don't care. It's honestly been so good having, we've lived in, small apartments for ages and just renting and investing elsewhere, like rent investing. But having a house has been fantastic, I'm not gonna lie. It's just great having the space. I love seeing my son have all the space to run around. We've got so many spare cupboards and stuff at our house, just empty, which is just, I actually love keeping them empty, but it's just nice to have the option. And we've got a lawn and all that sort of stuff, which you don't really need, to be honest, but it is nice to have. And that's been great. Some of the downsides though of having a family home is because the repayment is pretty big, it means that it does pull me away from buying more investment properties sooner. And it's not like that's a first world problem, obviously. It is something that is weighing on my mind. I feel like I'm on the bench right now after buying these properties and adding to the portfolio, which has been great, but I kind of want to get back out there and buy something else and continue to grow the portfolio, because I've got certain objectives. Because I want to get to $10 million in real estate as soon as I can, basically. We're at about 5 at the moment, and hopefully by the end of the year, next year, we'll be around 6 or somewhere thereabouts if everything goes well. Basically, my goal is to buy two more regional properties for $500,000 each. Honestly, I'm not even sure how we're going to be doing it. Just with the continued rate rises, there's probably a couple more to happen, at least in the first half of next year. So I'm not sure what the bank will lend us, because we've been buying a lot lately, and I'm not sure where our servicing limit is. So I guess we'll find out. I will have the cash aside to buy, put a 20% deposit down on both of those. But it just depends if whether the bank were going to lend me the rest, or what are going to be the conditions and all that sort of stuff. So that is something that I'm really looking at. I'm working hard to keep increasing my income and reducing my costs and stuff, so my application is as strong as possible. But who knows what's going to happen next year? There could be a lot of talk of recession, both here and in the States. So who knows how it'll pan out? But my objective is to get 2 more properties around the $500,000 mark, so I can add $1 million in asset value. I do want to pay for it with cash down payments rather than equity being pulled out, but we'll see how things pan out. I don't know if that'll be possible or whatever, but I don't know. I know a lot of people like pulling out equity to buy new properties, and mathematically that's probably the best option, but I don't know. For me, I really like putting down 20% deposits. I feel like you don't pay LMI, and it may be a bit slower, but I like the peace of mind of knowing that from day one, I've got 20% equity guaranteed. And then, they usually cash flow positive as well, comfortably. And then that means I can continue to add it to my portfolio. And I don't mind being a little bit slower, but having a little bit less risk at the same time. Another objective I have is learning more about the property buying process myself. So obviously I know like a bunch about it. In the past, I've used buyer's agents to help, and I've kind of secretly asked them lots of questions about their assessment criteria for buying investment grade properties. So I've kind of used them to sort of learn a lot as well, which has helped a lot. But for the next two properties, I think I'm going to lean towards me buying them myself, even though it might be a bit more time consuming. I would like to just start buying more properties myself and continuing to get more and more experience and learn more about that sort of stuff. It is very convenient, to be honest, just paying a buyer's agent 10 grand or 15 grand or 13 grand or whatever. It's way easier that way, to be blunt. I want to buy many, many properties over time. So, I really should probably start learning about this process to a really high level so that I can build my skill set, which is something I'd love to do in that area. The next area is crypto. So basically I'm not buying any. It was just a total shit show, to be honest, buying it the other day, or like last year or whatever it was. A funny story, I actually had $25,000 that I was going to go buy some crypto, and it left my account and I transferred it using, it was like Commonwealth Bank wire transfer to, who was it? I think it was not Binance. It was one of the maybe it was BlockFi. I think it was BlockFi. And I transferred the money to them, or it left my account, it said negative 25 grand or whatever. And then it bounced, or it failed or something. They said it all went through, they said it sent, and then they found out that it went to those guys. And basically the bank said, oh, we didn't realize this was these crypto guys. We actually don't send to these types of businesses, at least at that point. Maybe they do now, but they didn't at that time. And they rejected that transfer and sent the money back to me. And that ended up probably being a blessing from God, because I probably would have lost my money. I probably would have just bought some dumb crypto coin and lost money anyway. So I kind of dodged a bullet accidentally, which was great. I have no plans really to buy it anymore at the moment. Ultimately, I just realized that I don't know enough about it to be investing in it. And will it go crazy in the future? Maybe. The technology seems like it could be useful in the future, but right now I'm just like, I want to stick to what I know, my bread and butter. It's growing my business and putting it into property ETFs. So that's what I'll be doing. And it's just not going to be a big part of my investing focus for next year. In terms of ETFs, I have, as many of you know, I've been a big investor in ETFs in the past. I'm a big fan of them just for the set and forget, or nearly set and forget factor. With them, you can just buy them, keep adding to it, not a lot of thought to it. There's no tenants or maintenance or anything like that. You just transfer the money and you'll get whatever percentage, and then it compounds if you stick with it and don't take on too much risk. It's a nice, simple, easy, thoughtless sort of thing you can do, or mostly thoughtless. I did draw down some of my ETFs to put a deposit down on our family home because we had to put down about $700,000 cash to buy this house that we're in now. And the part of that was from the ETFs being sold down. So I am planning to add back to that because it was great, did its job, and I'll probably continue to do that. So that's something that in 2023 I do want to kind of increase my balance with that. So between that and the two properties, that's going to be a big focus for me. In terms of my business, for those of you who don't know, I have a marketing agency, Groe, groe.com.au, groe.com.au. Big focus for me, that's kind of like my main income source, and then I take that money and put it into other assets. And traditionally, it's been more of a cash flow business, and I would use that to take that money to invest. But I would like to continue to grow the income, pun not intended, for that business even further. And to do that, I'm going to be mainly focusing on finding the right staff to help execute the work, as well as ramping up my content creation, which is something that I've kind of been doing a bit, as like this sort of stuff, as well as some Instagram stuff and a little bit of LinkedIn. But I really want to ramp up the volume of what I'm putting out. I generally seem to get pretty good response on what I do, but I really don't post enough. And I really like to post at like a much higher rate if possible, but it takes a bit of thought, a bit of planning, and a bit more structure to sort of do that volume and quality throughout a whole year in a row. So that's going to be a big focus for me moving forward into 2023. And the second part of the equation for growing the business is introducing more scalable products and services. So one of the downsides of having a traditional service-based business is it can be quite staff intensive and can be slow to scale. So for me to go from 50K a month to 500K a month, that's not easy, and it's not easy for many businesses, but it's especially difficult if you need to get, another 30 staff to deliver that kind of level of work or whatever it is. For me, one of the things I've thought about and sort of toyed with the idea about for ages is whether, I work with business owners like literally every single day about helping them grow their company, whether it's consulting or whether it's our done-for-you services our team delivers. One of the things I'd really like to start doing is either training courses, because a lot of people that have new businesses that want my help, but they can't afford, like our rates are kind of like mid to high, probably more mid-level prices. We're not super expensive, but we're also not the cheapest either. So that would be a really good option for the people that maybe they would like to spend a little bit, but they don't have thousands and thousands of dollars every single month to spend. But a course would be great for them. I can teach them the core concepts they need to know to grow their business, and then they can sort of go off and away. And some of these people will probably become clients down the track because they've used the tips, grown their business, and they come back and we can just do a lot of the stuff for them. That's definitely something, either courses and also group coaching is something that I've been considering. I do a lot of one-on-one consulting to like high level business owners. But there's a lot of people that either prefer the group sort of environment because they can learn from not just me, but also bounce off other people in the group who are trying to grow their businesses the same. But also just, it's much more scalable. I can have, even if I charge, and I do to some people, I've got some people on very high retainers that we do one-to-one stuff, and, we really do a deep dive on their business. But to be honest, like I could have 50 people or 100 people in a group paying a certain amount of money. And, for me, I would be able to leverage my time a lot better, and they might pay a bit less because it's in a group, but they would get fantastic value, but I would get a lot more leverage and income from the exact same amount of time. So that's something I'm definitely considering going into 2023. So I'll keep you posted. If you are a business owner, definitely check out grow.com.au if you have any kind of questions around that sort of stuff, or you just want some help growing your business. I'm happy to help you out. So overall, that's some of the stuff I'm thinking about going into 2023. I hope you found that useful. If you have any questions or thoughts or comments, please let me know below. If you have any goals of your own, please send them through. And I'd love to see them. Always gets me excited, sort of seeing what other people are really focusing on next year. And with that said, I'll see you in the next video.